Hi and welcome back to my channel. So this week I'll be discussing the Coronation Street storyline, and I'll also be talking about fertility. Just briefly my experience with fertility questions that I've had. So with the Coronation Street storyline, I wasn't actually going to mention it again because I know that yes, it's a soap and people, they try and keep it light, but obviously Michelle's miscarriage is something that happened to a lot of women, so a lot of women are able to relate to. And if you watched my last video, I did say in that I was happy that nobody mentioned that, oh, Michelle is young, she can try again. So I finally caught up with it this week, and there was a character who was having a conversation, and aside she was just mentioning of how the character can try again. And like she said something along the lines of, it's not like she's old or something like that. And the husband caught the end of the conversation. And again, it's something that I have said previously, and it's something that was said to me that, you know, there'll be more chances to try again and so forth. And if you know somebody that's lost a child, don't say this to them, because it's the worst thing that you could say. First of all, having a child isn't a commodity. It's not like a can of Coke. If I spill my Coke, I can run out to the shop and pick up another one. Hell, I could even pick up a 6-pack if I was that interested in it. So I wouldn't suggest saying such a thing. Also, it's not what somebody who's just lost a child wants to hear, that they can have another one. When I lost my son, I weren't thinking about, oh, I will just have another one to replace that child, because I was still, and I still am, yearning for the child that I have lost. So even if, you know, somebody says now, oh, you must be over Aaron now because it's been almost 2 years. No, I'm not over it, because I'm living in the shadow of the life that I wanted. You know, there's so much that I wanted for him, but obviously that isn't going to happen. So it's just think before you speak. And I was happy it wasn't mentioned when I did my last video, but then after seeing that it was mentioned, I was like, okay, maybe it is a good thing, because now people know that it's not a nice thing to say. Even though the person might have the good intentions, it's still hurtful. So yeah, touching upon that, now for somebody to make a statement like you can have another, you are assuming that the person that you are speaking to has a good fertility, or they're fertile. And I think that the misconception is that if you've had a baby, that it's easy to fall pregnant again, which isn't always the truth. Now, I know people that have had one child and they're struggling to have a second child. I know people that are struggling to have a first child, and it's not an easy thing. With my own experience, I remember when I got married, a lot of people were expecting me to get pregnant straight away. And we didn't get pregnant straight away because it wasn't something that was on our agenda. We loved traveling. We wanted to finish traveling. We wanted to see the world. And, you know, I was starting off in a new career. So for me, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. And we were quite young. I saw it as, you know, we weren't up to 30. So what was the rush? So, yeah. But because of that, now people started speculating. This is a community thing. Like, obviously people don't have anything better to do but then to want to know about my reproductive organs and my husband. So the speculation was that we must be infertile or having fertility issues. Now, I didn't actually know this until after I had become pregnant with my first baby. So I remember after telling my dad that I was pregnant, you know, a couple of weeks later, he said, oh, you know, people were asking a lot of questions at my sister's wedding as to why we hadn't had a child yet. And I was quite taken aback, to be fair, because the people that were asking these questions, I don't even talk to. So if I don't speak to you, if you speak to my parents, you don't really need to concern yourself with my fertility or whether I'm having a child or not having a child, you know. And I just found it quite strange that people have the cheek to say hi to you, but then go and talk to your parents and say, well, why hasn't she had a child? And it's quite a backward thing. It's quite a backwards thing, I would say, to actually think that or to say such a thing. So moving on from that, it's like, you don't need to question somebody's fertility. Just leave people to it. Leave people as they are, you know. For all you know, imagine if, like, just some people do struggle with fertility. So if I was somebody who had struggled to get pregnant, I wouldn't have appreciated people saying things along the lines of, oh, finally, like, you're having a baby now. I would have really been upset with that, if I'm honest with you. So it's just something to think about. You know, don't rush people into having a child just because you think that it's time, or just because they've been married a couple of years. Give people a chance. You know, people will do things in their own time, and I'm sure if they are having problems with fertility, if you are involved in that person's life, they will come and talk to you about it. But if you're not, then just let it be, because whether they have a child or not, it doesn't bear any impact on your life. Just like me having a child or children, it hasn't really brought any impact on the person who was inquiring about my fertility. So yeah, get over yourself. So I just wanted to say that, yeah, I've got that all off my chest now. So thank you for tuning in. Remember, subscribe. I'm on Twitter sometimes, and I am on Instagram. So yeah, catch me there. Thank you. Bye.